while most saw a combination of factors at play, gender-based recruitment practices, maybe we must encourage more women to come. We must do some lateral recruitment. The perception that women lack skills and smaller amount of women applicants were also issues contributing to lower number of women serving on the boards. If need be, we may have to induct a person at a deputy general manager's level or a assistant general manager's level and move 3-4 steps. Find the right kind of people, induct them laterally and push them up. So that is the way we can have women of expertise coming on the board. Women at board positions should learn to be collaborative, collegial, this is out of my experience, and at the same time be bold and expressive. While consensus is the order, it is also important the women directors need to speak and express their views and at times dissent when needed. So there is another role which has come up, that is the independent directors. Independence stems from professionalism both at a corporate level in terms of how the company approaches the subject of board composition and processes at an individual level in terms of how independent director gears himself or herself for effective board service. There is an expectation that directors are required to play the role of watchdogs and nothing more. And in that sense, the independent directors are expected to play the role of whistleblowers on the board. Needless to say, this thinking has brought in an element of sameness to Indian boards with a greater focus on compliance. What is required is a diverse group of individuals who can examine issues from diverse perspectives and add value to overall performance. Unfortunately, there is a perception that a company with marquee names on the board is better governed. There are name lenders to come on the board. Of course, those days are vanishing slowly. There are marquee names, some companies, maybe the smaller ones, which go on that. There is also a perception that there is a severe dearth of good candidates and hence there is a tendency to go back to the same names repeatedly. That is why there is a limitation. Otherwise somebody was telling me, I am on 23 boards, I am on 32 boards. Today it limits to 10 boards. Because there was a dearth of talent. The same person was representing sometimes, even conflict of interest. Maybe I am on, say for example, Oil India board. I will also be on HPCL board. It is conflict of interest because we represent the same industry. But having marquee names on the board does not guarantee better standards of corporate governance. And thanks to this Companies Act, it has limited the number of directorships that one can have. Independent directors on the board of a company come from diverse backgrounds and more often than not, they are not from the same industry. Therefore, a formal onboarding program for new directors, which I spoke about, the orientation, is most helpful and powerful in getting the new board members up to speed quickly and enabling them to contribute sooner. India globally revealed that very few companies have induction and orientation and training programs for their directors. I think IPE can play a very solid role here. The corporate governance chair can play a very solid role in giving that induction to directors. What is expected of the role expectations and how the delivery of the role. All these things can be packaged and you can run some good programs. At a time when independent directors are being given additional responsibilities, it is essential for new members to get up to speed quickly on key issues facing the company. This is often more pronounced when directors are new to the company. It is essential to educate independent directors on the company's business model, industry, competitive landscape, as well as its recent history of successes and problems with finance reporting, because they become wholly and solely responsible for the financials, financial reporting, and anything to do with. It's done. It's done. It's a quote. It's done. Tweeted Viviane Reding, Vice President of the European Commission and European Union Commissioner for Justice, Fundamental Rights and Citizenship. She just tweeted 2 words, it's done. It's a move followed by business and political leaders around the world. The European Commission recently adopted her proposed European Union law, which aims to attain 40% objective of women in non-executive board member positions in large publicly listed companies by 2020. So it is like, an excitement. She just tweeted 2 words, it's done, when the European Union moved for 40% women representation on the board. In the Indian context too, the opening up and creating diverse boards is happening, though in a small way. But certainly a beginning has been made, and that is the reason you're all here, and I'm sure this is going to be a great start. I wish each one of you all the very best in your role as directors. The road to today's gender diversity has been a long one. It has not been very easily achieved. 20 years ago, we were focused on establishing women in workplace. Maybe our mother's generation or our grandmother's generation never saw what is an office like. They all started off as teachers, nurses, and that ended there. Maybe our mother's generation. The next, our generation or the one before had its way to make it to the workplace. 10 years ago, the focus was career advancement, and still it is. People who join, the aspiration-driven women want to reach a certain place, a certain cadre, certain level in their organization. About 5 years ago, the marketplace began to wake up to the issue of diversity and balance on boards. So it is not over a short period of time, it's been happening over a period of time, from employment to career progression to find a space in the boardroom. And we still have some distance to travel, and I'm sure each one of us will travel that distance, cover it very fast, and find a place in the boardroom. Here I would like to share with you something on Bharatiya Mahila Bank. When it comes to lending to women, we have certain unique practices. We say if the company is headed by a woman, the CEO is a woman, we construe it as women lending. Okay. If 40% of the board of directors are women, then the company gets funded as women. Maybe if there is some interest concession, whatever be that, it gets extended to them. And it would be taken as women lending. If 50% of the employees are women, then we construe it as women lending. So, these are some of, and we even say, if a man who is an instrument of empowerment of women, comes for a loan. For example, tomorrow if Mishra ji says, I'm going to have a college for exclusive women MBAs only, and no man is allowed, and he becomes an instrument of educating, the women, maybe 20, 200, 300, 500, by which they get employed and then they get empowered. So he's an instrument of empowerment. So that lending also we construe as women lending, because the ultimate benefit goes to empowering women. So friends, I would invite you to our Hyderabad branch, which is at Srinagar Colony, am I right? Srinivas Nagar. Okay, I always get confused, near Ameerpet. So it's worth visiting the branch, and I would request each one of you. It is not only to the women, the men here, the faculty can also be part of that, relationship with the bank. So it's a new bank which you can experience, and I'm not here to market the bank, but you should know about the bank. Because sometimes, people read the word limited, and then they think it's a private bank, it is some cooperative bank, and then they say, okay, now we are writing wholly owned by Government of India. At least that will lend a lot of trust. So here we give more interest on savings. When all other banks give you 4%, we give 4.5 up to 1 lakh. And when it exceeds 1 lakh, we give you 5%. And for women to put up your own, or you may know somebody you can recommend. Sucharita is our manager here. Any women enterprises that they want to promote, because women often have a lot of ideas, but they don't give wings to those ideas because they don't have money. They don't have properties to give us collateral. They don't have assets in their names. All the properties are in the men's name. So with the result, when they want money, they are not able to. One other thing we have found is women don't require a lot of money. They all start small enterprises. They don't put up a 5-star hotel. I have not come across. Forget the Majumdars and Majumdar Shaws and Anu Agas and all. They are very few. You can count with fingers. Whereas generally a woman entrepreneur looks to a funding of 25 lakhs. She wants to put up a small cafeteria, maybe a fast food center. Maybe she wants to have a laundrette. Of course, that concept is not caught up in India. Maybe a dry cleaning, bakery chain. these kind of things, because she has a balancing activity elsewhere. So she tries to, come into, and that is where there is a huge entrepreneurial gender gap. If you see the men, they put up 50 megawatt plant, nothing, they will never talk of 1 megawatt. They will say, some, 1 million ton cement, start. First day, we will really roll out this much of cement. See, that kind of plants, because they inherit lot of wealth or assets, plus they have the wherewithal, because they own lot of things, and they get like-minded people very easily to invest. Whereas a woman, she's a multitasker, she has so many things. She may be running an enterprise, at the same time at the back of her mind, tomorrow unit test for my son. That is there. So, there is a lot of entrepreneurial gender gap. When men have large, high capital intensive, old, enterprises, women have small, young, and less capital intensive enterprises. That is why the gap is so much. So women need 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, not more than that. If somebody wants to run an embroidery center, what she needs is 10, high-speed sewing machines, and 10 people or 20 people to work in shift. That's it. She picks up the orders. She needs money for the machine. She wants the salaries, a small working capital. So we are open to, and every bank should do it, but we are with women. So I emphasize on this point that they can get collateral-free loans, because we take them under CGT MSE, where there's a 1% of the loan amount to be paid as premium, which helps them. Otherwise, she wanted to run a small unit, and she has wonderful ideas. She's very good at embroidering, but she's not able to do that. She just, thinks, how do I do it? Or somebody is very good at manufacturing jams. All she needs is a small kind of, I came across a woman who wanted to make paper cups. She said, I have a ready order for 6 lakh from a marriage party, caterer. Like that, so many caterers line up. And she says, my order is something I can't. So she wanted a machine. The machine costs only 7 lakhs. She says, with that, I would, be manufacturing, and the place is given by somebody. What I'm saying is, this is the place we try to pitch in and support these kind of women. So if you come across any good woman who has an entrepreneurial instinct and has a right kind of a project, I think Bharatiya Mahila Bank is with them to fund them. And any of you have any needs, for women especially, we have a very beautiful product called Efficient Kitchen. So it is making your kitchen efficient, not modern. Because I don't know about Hyderabad, pardon me, whereas I keep the Bombay lady in mind. A Bombay lady has only 5x6 area, or 6x7, that is her world. She spends most of her time, she gets up in the morning, she's there, just comes to the, dressing room to dress up. I've seen Bombay women, how they go also. Sometimes the dupatta will be flying on one side. Somebody will say, Tumhara dupatta. Then she'll pick up and go, because the train is fast arriving. She doesn't want to miss. And evening she comes, she again gets into the kitchen, and she closes the day with that. So her most of the time is spent in the kitchen. So we thought, why not help them have an efficient kitchen? Her dependence on the servants is very high. The day the servant doesn't turn up, her BP, even if she doesn't have, automatically shoots up. So she is into that kind of a syndrome. And in Bombay, you have to take a 9-2 local, not a 9-10 or a 9-15. The locals run like that, 8-59 local. So women are, driven to that. The mindset is all tuned to that 8:59 and 9:13 kind of things. So to release her time from the kitchen, we thought, why not make her kitchen efficient? So if she has a dishwasher is a concept which is not caught up in India, but if she has a dishwasher, her dependence on the servant is zero. If she has a vacuum cleaner, possibly, or if she has a dryer along with her, or if she realigns her kitchen in such a way, she doesn't have to hunt around for salt every day. Somewhere you dump every day. You don't know where you have kept your... Indian women have that sense. But what happens to make you efficient? If you have certain way of doing it or realign your kitchen, I'm sure it releases a lot of time. So this is a product we have devised, especially keeping working women in mind. So you can also talk to your friends, or if you have a need, you can contact Sucharita. And I would only, request that if you can drop into the bank, maybe you will take a liking for the bank and open an account. And it's applicable to the men as well. The men are welcome to walk into our bank, open your savings account, recurring deposit, fixed deposit, whatever you want. So friends, to conclude, I wish each one of you a wonderful time. So when you all step into the boardroom, it's going to be a great experience for you, and a great experience to work with men and women of diverse interests, diverse talents, and diverse expertise. So there is so much diversity in the board that you will experience when you get in. It's not men and women alone. In terms, somebody is an IT expert, somebody is a legal expert, somebody is an engineer, somebody is a management expert. So there is a pooling of expertise happens. That is also a diversity confluence. So I wish each one of you a wonderful time in the boardroom, and wish you all the very best as you grow higher and higher in your character, and sooner or later occupy the coveted position of a director in a very good company or a very good enterprise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I think this was one of the best speeches that we ever heard, and very thankful. And they're all very close to all of our hearts, because we all come from the same background. We all run here and there daily. Think of children examination. So today, fortunately, my son has a unit test. So we are trying to balance so many things you rightly pointed out. So this is kind of an encouragement that everyone has got, and especially all our colleagues at the institute, we all agree to whatever you said. And before we just try to wind up the session, we'll take 5 minutes to see that we do the participant introduction, so people will know from where they belong to. I request from the madam. Yeah, ma'am, please.
I'm Sucharita. I'm heading Bharati Mahila Bank in Hyderabad branch. It's located at Mythigan, Amrapet, and I have my company. I'm Mrs. Nazreen Jala. I'm General Manager Finance in our marketing division, Western region of Bombay. I started my career in Illinois in Bombay, and I have worked at various places as a finance as well as sales. I was in sales department for 6 years and in audit, and now this year I have been shifted to finance again after a long tenure. And I have worked in Baroda as in refinery, and in Bhopal in our state office. In Bhopal I was in sales in charge of that full state.
I am Lakshmi Srinivas, working in State Bank of Hyderabad. I am a representative of All India Bank Employees Association on the SBH board. I am appointed by Government of India.
I am Tain Mori, General Manager, Strategic Research Center, Electronics Design Center, HAL Hyderabad. As Madam Usha was talking about, fortunately for me, I accepted the transfer. I was working in the electronics, or I would say the helicopter design of HAL in Bangalore for quite some years, almost 28 years. Then I was transferred last year here as